Woo! Hey guys, welcome back to Real Talk with Lady T. And tonight we will be talking about Married at First Sight, Season 12, Episode 6. It was mind blowing. Stay tuned. Okay, so how everybody doing out there? All my Married at First Sight fans. I know y'all had to be like, it's like, what? When y'all watched this last episode. Anywho, before I go into that episode, I wanted to talk a little bit about the Unfiltered. So I don't go into a lot of detail about the episode that comes on, the pre-episode that comes on right before the show, the Unfiltered. But I just wanted to point out a couple things that I noticed in the Unfiltered show. Now, I had said on my last week's video, wow, Paige was on there 2 weeks in a row. So here we go again. Another week and Paige is actually on Unfiltered again. So it was just a couple of the wives, and they were just talking about their honeymoons and how things was going. So I noticed that the topic of babies came up, and I wasn't sure how Paige was going to feel about even having a conversation about having babies, knowing that Chris got a baby on the way. But anywho, she was just saying that she had some health issues, you know, and that she would like to have children sooner than later. And then Brianna did mention that she as well had she's not in a rush to have babies, but she does have some female issues or some health things, you know, that concerns her when it comes to bearing a child. So in that whole pregnancy baby conversation, Virginia was just talking about how, you know, she's not as ready as Eric and Eric's mom and the whole family, I guess, for him to have children. So they asked Brianna about who made the first move as far as sex. And she was basically like, you know, I did. She made the first move, that she thought he was really cute. It was just interesting to me at the end of the Unfiltered episode when Jamie was like, so what's keeping you? And she said, Jesus. Girl. She said Jesus is keeping her there. No comment. So anyway, let's get to the show. So we're going to start off with our couple, Clara and Ryan. Ryan said that he feels like that it's a really good first date for them. So it seems like things are getting kicked off at a good space. He asks her about her relationships in the past, and when she was in college, he talks about how she was quick to fall in love. Like, she's like, oh, I just love all the time. I just fall in love all the time. And he's just like giving her that look. And I guess that was his opportunity to throw that bombshell in, like, I don't throw that word around so lightly.
Not a good combination. The girl who's always in love and the guy who's never said he loves anyone. Yeah, that sucks.
And then, so Clara seemed very concerned, even in tears, like he never loved. So, and if he's been in relationships with somebody for a long time, even years, who's to say he's ever going to love me and I'm his actual wife? So I felt her right there on that part, like, you know, like, yeah, I get Ryan explained how he's more reserved and that his wife, Clara, is like, says whatever comes to mind. Like, she don't have a filter. She just say whatever. Starts off with Clara saying, well, I'm done. Like, I don't want nothing to do with nobody else's business. All I'm going to worry about is my marriage, my situation, da-da-da. Sounds good. We hear you, Clara, right? So Ryan says to her, and I quote, you need to control the things that come out of your mouth. Yo, I hollered. Like, he said, you need to control the things that come out of your mouth. And Clara was like, yo, I need to get a picture of her face when he said that. She was just like, so basically, my husband telling me that I say too much. I open my mouth too much. Yeah, that's pretty much what he said. Still trying to read Ryan. Ryan still gives me some different vibes. Don't get me wrong. It's just something about him. I don't know. I just don't know. All right, so let's go to our couple that has the least action ever, which is Haley and Jacob. Jacob actually feels like Haley is hard to read. The couple, I mean, like I said, they don't really give much.
It's a lot to process.
But I think, generally he is a good guy. And I definitely feel like I'm starting to like him.
And I don't understand with production, when they're recording, why do they keep pausing it? Like, he'll say something and then she'll wait a while before she responds. I'm like, why didn't it edit it out? Like, it's just, we all sitting here in silence. Like no. Like, that was bothering me. I'm like, wait, what is going on? Basically, she's like, I'm not the clingy type. And I know Jacob is basically like, excuse me? Like, we married. Like, it's not about being clingy, but I don't know if it's a combination of her being single for all those years, single, just doing whatever she want to do and jumping right into marriage. I don't know what she was thinking when she signed up for this, because now it's almost like she's kicking herself. Now, we did find out in this episode that they finally had sex. It makes it seem as though the sex was on some like, oh, I mean, we married, so I was drinking, so like come on, don't do that I was drinking conversation again. We're not going to go back to that like on some Chris and Paige situation. What the mom said. But basically, Haley was like, I was drinking. One thing led to another. It just happened. And so it kind of makes me feel bad for Jacob, because it's like, okay, so that's the only reason. Haley basically said that she understands and knew that intimacy was going to be a thing for her. It was going to be a problem for her, and something that she already was aware of. And she already was like, I'm going to have to take this head. Next couple, of course, Chris and Paige. So basically, they having a conversation, and Chris is basically like, I'm proud of you. The way you've been handling everything. I'm proud of this. I'm proud of that. And now, as she's giving this, like, he's giving her all these, like, I'm proud of you, like, compliments. She's just feeling good about herself and blushing, which we neither here nor there.
Wife comes before everybody, and that means put her first and handle her needs and her feelings before everything else.
Paige just seemed really concerned and really worried about what's going to happen when they get back to Atlanta. And she's basically like, oh, wow, you ready when we get back to Atlanta? Like, what's going to happen? And so she brings up the gifts, and she's like, oh, I can get the gifts that my parents gave us and my family. And he's like, oh, well, if there's any money, we can split that down the middle.
I'll bring the wedding gifts that my family and friends.
If it's money, we gotta split it 50-50.
Split it 50-50. I think you're forgetting that you're married, so there's no splitting anything.
So she's like, what you mean? She's like, first of all, we married. Like, okay, you want to split things down the middle. Okay, fine. But we're married. It's not the same. It's different. So then he brings up the conversation of the joint account.
How do you feel about joint accounts or separate accounts?
A joint account is like necessary for like the bills. But I just feel like that's another conversation.
Oh, how you feel about joint accounts? So he's like, well, I'm just letting you know I don't believe in joint accounts. What's yours is yours, what's mine is mine. I'll give you what you need. I'm just like, honestly, let me say this. Let me drop some nickels and dimes on you, Paige. Okay. Keep what you got, and I'll keep what I got. Because let me say this. He do all this talking about money. He wear this, he wear that, he name brand. When you have somebody that's always talking about money, they wear name brand, Gucci this, Versace that, da-da-da-da-da. Business owner. And then you talking about splitting money down the middle. You don't want joint accounts. I feel like all that sometimes can be a cover-up for her to eventually, they end up having an account. It'll seem like he's giving in. Like, oh, okay, well, yeah, we can do that. No. Okay, you don't want no joint account? That's fine with me. You probably got a nickel in there. Anyway, what, I'm going to be paying for your ex-fiance and baby mom? Like, no. Blew me away. In the same scene, we see Paige talking about her dog. And he like, oh, yeah, as far as meeting her dog. And he just seemed very uninterested. Oh, well, as long as the dog not gonna be chewing up my shoes. So Paige is like, okay, so I'm willing to take on a whole ex that's pregnant, and I have to deal with sharing you with her and y'all baby. But you can't even accept my dog? You acting like you don't even want to build a relationship or even get to know my dog, but I can get to know and be a part of your situation? Red flag. Red flag. I hope the yellow out the door. No, the yellow not out the door. We done seen the episode. Red flag, Paige. Red flag. So moving over to our Virginia and Eric. So they're having this whole conversation. And Eric is basically concerned. Listen, I'm concerned about the drink. And Eric is basically like, listen, like, you know, we about to go back home. This little vacay is almost over. And you do a lot of drinking.
You know, I'm fine with the amount of drink, but Eric hardly drinks at all. So I am a little worried because, like, I'm really not sure how it'll play out once we're in Atlanta and living our lives.
I mean, Eric been drinking too. He been kind of playing catch up with her, but at the same time, being on some real, he like, I don't know if I can keep up with this drinking situation that you have. Basically, Virginia's saying that every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, she drinks. And she was like, oh, you know, I would love for you to be a part of that. Like, huh? He's like, listen, I got a career, I got a life, I enjoy my life and what I've built, and I want you to be a part of that, but you're not going to drag me in no stuff. So I really feel like, if anything else, between the babies, Virginia having babies, and this drinking situation, and her fitting into his life, and her male friends, I feel like they're going to have some issues. They really are. And again, they keep butting in the other stuff, but y'all got your own stuff. Yeah. Okay, so one of my favorite couples, we already know, I done said it already in my last couple videos, Brianna and Vincent. The scene with them talking. So I feel like that whole, she's bossy. She's bossy. Oh, by the way, did I tell you she's bossy? All of those bossy statements is starting to show.
She is bossy.
Try one?
I'll try one. Let me see. I put water in my face and I go to bed. That's all I do.
It thoroughly cleanses your face.
Okay.
Put that in the garbage, please. Thank you. Do you floss your teeth?
Of course. I have always been a patient person in my life, but certainly there may be times where, like, I'm not. So, you know, you just gotta keep on working on being patient and listening.
And my man Vincent, yeah, he looked like he ain't really playing those kind of games. I feel like Vincent will hurt her feelings in a heartbeat. So I'm like, Vincent's not having it. She asked Vincent, did I do anything to annoy you, right? And he said, next question. I said, yo, Vincent is crazy. Next question. Basically, he says that he has a lot of patience. And he feels as though his wife, Brianna, needs to gain and grow some patience. Like, she doesn't have much patience, he's saying. But, you know, even with some of the clips they've shown, it's like she wants to boss him and tell him what to do. And it doesn't seem like he is that person. He felt disrespected the way they were going, they're back and forth. So I feel like with that relationship, that may definitely be a thing. That may be a problem for them. I'm hoping that they can balance it out. They can figure it out. But sometimes people that's quiet, reserved, way too patient, they taking time bombs too. And sometimes there's a situation can happen that can bring them to a whole nother level. And you be like, oh. So somebody that's not as quiet and is outspoken, they may be able to express themselves a lot more. But in this case with Vincent and Brianna, I feel like he's just so calm, cool, collected. But those are the ones you got to watch out for. I'm just saying. You still my man, Vincent. I still like you. But yeah. So, and wait, my man Vincent said, 1, I don't like to be rushed. He said, 2, don't rush me. And he said, 3, I'm not changing for nobody. Y'all just leave that right where it's at. But then bringing it back around, I do like once Vincent and Brianna, they did go on their little date and they did the indoor, skydiving. That looked fun, and they seemed like they can let loose a little bit, have a little bit of fun. They did have a brief conversation about the night.
It upset me a little bit. I don't try to be bossy at all, but obviously I am. I'm nice to people, and I'm a kind person, so I don't want anyone to feel as if I'm bossing them around or I'm being rude in any type of way. And last night when you were telling me, of course it made me like a little emotional, because I don't want to come off like that, especially to my husband. It's someone I have to live with for the rest of my life.
And basically, Brianna was saying she was a little upset about it, and Vincent was like, I didn't like it. I felt disrespected, but I did like that Brianna said we are each other's safe space, and I think that's important. That y'all gonna have bumps in the road. Like, this just the beginning. Y'all a couple days in. Y'all got a couple weeks to go. And possibly years if y'all stay together. So, yeah, like, I need to feel safe and you need to feel safe. So, even when we're not 100% on the same page, we can be open and honest with each other. And I liked that about, just her final statement on that scene when they were at their date.
Okay, guys, that's it for Married at First Sight, Season 12, Episode 6, Part 1.